Check 1, 2. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Scorpio Esports channel, broadcasting live from the Croatian coast of the Adriatic Sea. This is round 12 of the Scorpio Super Formula Series. Today we're down by the seaside, Dragontail Seaside to be exact, a wonderful 3.24 mile, 18 corner fantasy circuit that challenges drivers to be millimetrically perfect with their inputs as they tackle elevation change, monstrous curbs, and unforgiving walls. The most notorious of which being the infamous amongst Gran Turismo folklore nicknamed the Death Chicane, a high-speed, narrow, bus-stop style chicane that when taken correctly can be easily flat out in these Super Formula machines, but enter side by side or get the line even slightly wrong and you will find yourself hard into the concrete walls and limping back to the pits. There are, however, a few good passing opportunities around the lap 2, namely into the turn 2 and 3 chicane and the turn 12 hairpin, an extremely hard downhill braking zone just before the death chicane. Track position will be critical, so let's find out who will claim it to start as we head down trackside for qualifying. In a few moments. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for tuning in. We are so happy to be back here, and I for one cannot wait for this race here today. Basically 60 laps ahead of us around this glorious circuit here. The fantasy track of Gran Turismo, Dragontail Seaside. Just absolutely cannot understate just how fun of a track this is. And it looks like we are about ready to get going for qualifying as well. Practice times have been very close between the top two, S2K and Larson, looking like they're going to be going at it once again for the top spot. Keen-eyed viewers will also note we are missing one of our championship protagonists. Drift King is not here today, so this will end up being one of his 3 drop rounds for the season. As we get ready to go qualifying here. We are underway. Larson, one of the first cars out of the pits. Actually, it is very closely by S2K. Once again, as per our usual lobby settings here, as our regular viewers will remember, no slipstream or dirty air here in qualifying. It is only the physical car that you need to be aware of as you make your way around the track. So track position still going to be important as to not trip over your fellow driver. And as you would have just seen pop up in the chat message, no overtake to be used in qualifying. So it's going to be all down to the driver and their skill behind the wheel. And this is that infamous Death Chicane, as you see Method making his way through, very closely followed by S2K. Method's actually going to let him go here. Perhaps Method can learn a thing or two from S2K, who was the fastest in practice in the lead up to qualifying here today. And let's run on board with him now as he makes his way up the hill to start his first flying lap. 10-minute qualifying session here today. We're already a minute and 30 into it. S2K rounding that very easily flat out turn 1, down into 3rd gear for this turn 2 and 3 chicane, up into 4th, trying to get traction on exit. Dropping the wheel ever so slightly into the grass now as he makes his way to turn 4 and 5. Or sorry, no, this is turn 6. Excuse me. I should probably have my track map up. Traction zone's going to be crucial for your qualifying lap here today, especially given how many flat-out corners tend to follow around this 3.24 mile circuit. And the S's section that you would have just seen him go through, typically quite the affair in a GT3 car, but in these Super Formula Series cars, it might as well be a straight. There's just zero lifting for any of these drivers going through. It's going to be easy flat, even on the hard tire in race conditions. Now, the death chicane a little bit trickier, especially on that second flick back to the left and the right, getting right up next to the wall. And now through the penultimate corner, S2K now climbing back up the hill. Good traction coming out, and he's going to take the shortest line up to the line. And he will set the benchmark of 1:18.624. Very fast opening lap for S2K. And Larson goes in at second place for the moment, half a second back. So as S2K typically does, he has already eclipsed his lap time from practice. As the rest of the field files through to set their first laps, Alex, the front-running Scorpio car for the moment, finds himself in P3, about 6/10 back from pole position. Supa qualifying in a net P4 for the moment on his first lap. Vader currently rounding out the top 5. Guzman, welcome back. We're happy to see him back in a Super Formula car after a couple weeks out. He is running in 6th. Mortal Sam back in as well after a couple weeks off, running in 7th. Quackadilly in 8th. Method in 9th. Lucanio in 10th, having just returned to the pits. And he will head back out once again. Back up toward the front of the train here. Actually, I think a few drivers, it was just S2K backed out to reset back to the pits, get a fresh set of tires on his car immediately. And over the line, here comes Larson as we surpass 4 minutes into the session. Does not improve on that lap. Nor does Alex, although he was a lot closer to his initial lap time. Supa coming up to the line here. Let's see what he's going to be able to do as he climbs the hill. Very tall curbs that all these drivers will need to keep an eye out for. Supa handling them pretty well, and does so extremely well. Goes second on the board, only a 10.5 back from S2K. What a lap from Supa. We had not seen anything like that out of him during practice. Could bode well to potentially see a 3-way fight for the win here today. Larson currently sat in a little bit of traffic as he makes his way out of turn 12. He is a 10.5 up at the moment. Still going to need a little bit more, though, if he wants a shot at pole position. See what he's able to make do with the final 2 corners here, still tucked up behind Method, who might have held him up just a little bit there going through the final corner. Larson out very wide over the curb, and he's going to return immediately to the pit lane. S2K coming around to finish another flying lap for himself. Got 2 more corners to go. Drift, yep, that is right. Drift King not here today, so he's going to be hopefully returning back in a couple weeks' time as we attempt our return to Austria. A little more on that later, as S2K over the line, half a second down on his personal best. Supa with another lap time set for himself, not quite fast enough to improve just yet. Larson on an out lap, as is Alex, as is Vader. Sam just came out of the pits. Guzman on a flying lap, as he is now at the north end of the circuit. And Crocodili's pulling over as he is on an out lap as well. Lucanio over the line, another flying lap for him. A 1:20.3 goes 9th fastest. S2K do this time as he rounds turn 12 once again, using all the curbs available to him. 0.06 of a second up at the moment. Using all the curb available to him again through the second half of the Death Chicane. Through the tunnel and now down to the penultimate corner, the final real corner on the circuit. Nice wide entry, sweeps it out wide using all the curb again. Perhaps a little bit wide potentially as he's going to come up to the line and does improve by 1/10.5. 1:18.4. Fastest lap of the session. Supa is in the pit lane to get himself a new set of tires. Can Larson respond? Making his way through the S's again. A completely easily flat out section in these cars. Dropping down the hill 180 miles an hour before slamming on the anchors quickly into second, back up into third with traction on exit. And another 0.5 up for him. Still needing a little more lap time, but he perhaps being a little more cautious with his track usage. Just trying to make sure he gets clean laps in before full sending it on his final lap. He will have time for one, potentially two more laps here. As he will cross the line, loses a little bit of time in the final sector, but still improves on his time. Remains in third, though, for the time being. Here comes Alex now, currently in fourth. Relatively clean track ahead of him. What's he going to be able to do here as he rounds the final corner? Can he find his way up into the top three here? Running up to the line, actually takes a little bit of a wider line on the runs to the line. And perhaps might be setting up for another fastest lap attempt. And S2K is back into the pit lane, and that is him done for qualifying. Not going to be enough time to get back out. Supa has pulled over, letting a few cars through, I believe, and now he's going to get ready to go for another lap. Larson coming up on another lap of his own. So Supa is starting a lap. We will watch Larson as he comes around to complete this lap here. He will have time to go and try to set one more. As he comes up to the line with 30 seconds remaining, stays in third for now. Alex and Vader now. Vader on an out lap for the moment. Got 20 seconds to get back to the line, so it could be a bit close for Vader if he is going to make it. We have a spinner out of the final corner. Alex coming up to the line. 3, 2, 1. Time has expired. Vader did not get back to the line in time. Alex did, so this will be his final lap of the session. We'll ride on board with Supa. He's at 0.2 down, though. So we'll look back to Larson, see if he can improve. Over 1/10.5 gains. Should see him into the 1:18s here. As long as he can find a little more time through the final corner. Don't think it's going to be enough for pole position, but certainly could get him onto the front row of the grid. Lucchio staying out of the way as he returns to the pit lane. Larson all the way over to the left-hand side of the track. Does improve up and onto the front row of the grid. So can Alex spoil the party and get himself onto the front row? We've not seen him into the 1:18s yet, but he has been very close. Oh, he had to take a blip he had to blip the throttle coming out of the final corner. Going to cost him a little bit of a run and stays in fourth place, a 1:19.027. And I believe that is everyone done with their qualifying laps. S2K once again on pole position. And 2.5 clear of Larson in second. Supa, great qualifying for him in third. Alex will line up 4th, Vader in 5th, Guzman 6th, Sam will line up 7th, Quackadilly in 8th, Luke and Yo just edging out Method for 9th as Method rounds out our grid here today. So we will have a couple minutes left, or about under a minute left for qualifying to just finalize, and we are 3 minutes away from the start of today's event. So, as for those of you who might have missed it from last time out, let's take a look back at our last race recap. Excuse me, sorry. It was another hectic running in the green hell last time out, but it was once again S2K on pole position for the start. However, everyone was taken by surprise as Supa would start the race on dry tires and make them last long enough for the rain to stop. Meanwhile, on lap 1, S2K would be jumped by Alex, only for the two of them to get caught up as Alex would spin off of one of the Nürburgring's notoriously tall curbs, dropping them both outside the top 5, although it wouldn't be for long. Amidst the chaos, Drift King, who had started from the back after failing to set a lap in qualifying, found his way up into the top 3. What proceeded to ensue was yet another brilliant display of racecraft and strategy by S2K to make his way back up to the front, despite seemingly being stuck behind other cars for multiple laps. Once again proving why he is the championship leader and title favorite, as he secured his 17th career victory in the series and an unprecedented 5th win in a row, with Supa trailing behind in 2nd place and Ryan in 3rd. And so, as it now stands, S2K remains solidly at the front of the pack, holding now a 75-point lead over Ryan. Supa, however, has officially moved up into 3rd in the standings after 2 second-place finishes in the last 3 races, and now trails Ryan by 39 points. Larson has fallen to 4th, but could soon well be 5th, as Alex closes in on him now, just 20 points back. Greminos and Rybert are entering a battle for 6th, with Guzman, Quackadilly, and Method rounding out the top 10. All of that is likely to be shaken up as Greminos and Rybert and Ryan are not here today. So lot of potential for, as we see a little bit of banter in the chat, definitely a lot of potential for the championship standings to get shaken up, as well as, don't forget, there are 3 drop rounds to be considered. As for the team's championship, AMS continues to lead now at 453 points to their name. Scorpio has begun to edge away from Simpulse, who are also pulling away from Foxhound. And as we get ready for the final preparations of today's event, I did mention during qualifying, we do have a schedule update. Austria is back on the calendar. We are back to an 18-race schedule. Austria will be coming up in a couple weeks. August 29th, we will be attempting to head back into the Austrian Alps for what should hopefully be a very exciting race indeed. So with now 7 races left on the schedule, including today's event, it will actually be 6 once we complete today's race. I know I said that last time. And it looks like we are about ready to get underway. Quick reminder to all of our potentially new viewers, we are on a dry track. I don't believe Dragontail has potential for wet weather. So the soft tire is a mandatory set for the drivers to use at some point during the race. Otherwise, their strategy is completely open. There is once again no refueling in this series, so they will have to make it all the way to the end on just the 1 tank of fuel. It is S2K ahead of Larson here as we get ready to go green from Dragontail as the drivers look to the lights to get ready. Can S2K get his 6th win in a row, or will anyone be able to challenge? It is lights out and we are underway, and it is a shaky start for one of the Scorpio cars further back. It is going to be side by side as Larson with a great start is going to edge ahead of S2K going down into turn 2. Supa looking to try to make a move. contact further back as Supa might have pushed S2K into Alex, and Alex is now going to jump up into second, defending hard against Supa as he's going to try to get around the Scorpio driver, and that has allowed Larson to get away handsomely as Guzman's going to lag all over the place trying to figure out where he is. Larson immediately to a 1.5 second lead, Supa into second, S2K back up into third, Guzman lagging all over the place trying to figure out where his car actually is. Alex has unfortunately dropped to fifth. I think he might have gotten caught up in one of those lag spikes. No damage to any of those cars so far. Vader runs 6th, Lucano up to 7th, Quackadilly down to 8th, Method in 9th, Mortal Sam in 10th. He had a bad start and a broken front wing to boot. So a fantastic start for Larson, who actually started on the medium tire. Supa has started on the soft. S2K is on the medium as well. So expect Supa to be very quick in these opening stages here as he tries to reel Larson back in. Has already taken out a few tenths of a second in the back half of the lap now that he got clear of the rest of the pack. Larson currently with the fastest lap, but that will change pretty quickly. Here comes S2K with a move on Supa. Trying to look up the inside. Little bit of contact potentially. He's going to back out of it. Supa will get back out in front, but he has a big squirm out trying to get back on the power. S2K back up the inside into turns 5 and 6. And S2K will retake second place. Boy, that was a hectic start to say the least. Foxhound with a great start for Larson, again with a 1.6 second lead now again as he makes his way through the S's. S2K coming under fire again from Supa. S2K going to defend to the inside. And he'll file back onto the racing line as Supa is not able to make a move. It is a simple 3-4 at the moment between Supa and Guzman falling behind it. That lag seems to have sorted itself out for now. Vader for Foxhound runs in 5th. Alex has dropped to 6th, and he has picked up heavy damage. I wonder if he's potentially gotten into the wall. So that's going to be hurting a lot of his pace now until that first stop. He is fortunately on the softs, so it will be less of a tire stint to get to the pit window. And further back, everyone seems to be okay. Sam has been into the pits to repair that damage and is on the soft tire. So Larson now leads by 1.3 seconds over S2K, who has closed in a little bit again through that middle sector. No longer immediately under threat from Supa, who runs half a second back. S2K also with the fastest lap of the race so far. Although as the fuel continues to burn off, I would imagine that lap time is going to drop immensely, especially with the overtake button at these drivers' disposal. Supa closing in, coming down into turn 12. Not going to be close enough to think about a move, and potentially might be trying to work with S2K to try to get a little bit closer to Larson here, not let him run away here. Gap now under 1.2 seconds, so S2K will start feeling the effect of the slipstream back from Larson. And that's going to mean he's going to start picking up a little bit of a toe, which is probably going to be the more important thing around a track like this. So much on throttle time where you're just completely flat out. So many very easy corners. You would imagine that dirty air probably won't be as much of a detriment as it was at, say, the Nürburgring last time out, or indeed another track like Autopolis. Either way, S2K now under a second to Larson for the moment. Both cars seemingly pretty equal on tire wear for the moment. The softs on Supa's car don't seem to be wearing out all that quickly, so could be a pretty solid race tire, that soft. Guzman has also started on the soft tire. He is slowly dropping back from his teammate. Vader on the medium is slowly starting to close in. Lucano has made his way up into 6th, another one of the Foxhound drivers. He has gotten around, he's still ahead of Quackadilly and Method. Sam runs 9th. And Alex has just made a pit stop to get onto the medium tire and repair that damage. He is 28.5 seconds back from the lead, which is beginning to shrink up at the front. Under 8 tenths now, S2K continuing to close in. But as he gets closer and closer, that the effect of the dirty air, even though I just said it probably won't be as big of a detriment, will start to hinder him through these slower corners like here at turns 2 and 3, and then coming into turn 5 and turn 12. The final corner especially will probably be very detrimental with the dirty air, as that is one of the fastest corners that aren't completely flat out for these cars. Larson making his way into the S's now. Still has a 7/10 of a second lead, but that is dropping quickly here. I think S2K might have used a little bit of the overtake button just to close in a bit more. Under 6 tenths now coming into turn 12. Top 3 now pretty equidistant as they continue to close in. We are only on lap 5 of this race. It is flying by, however. S2K still with the fastest lap of the race, has been consistently in the 1:20.3s, even with the dirty air. A little bit of a slide coming out of the final corner, though. That's that dirty air we were talking about. That could let Supa think about a charge coming down into turn 2 here. But being 4 tenths back, I don't think he's going to attempt to move from that far back, and doesn't. So he will stay behind S2K, who gets a great run out of turn 3, closing in under 6 tenths now to Larson. Through turn 6, another one of those corners that's going to be a little bit more difficult for S2K to navigate, being that close in the dirty air. Supa staying close for now, even though these tires are beginning to fade. Using the slipstream off the 2 cars in front of him to his advantage. As all 3 of them now late on the brakes, trying to get set up for the exit out of turn 12. Supa with a much better exit coming out of turn 12, and he's going to close right in, nearly getting into the wall coming through the death chicane. 2 tenths back, might think about a move on S2K coming into the penultimate corner, thinks better of it. Clean exit for all 3 of them. It's now S2K under half a second now to Larson. Another fastest lap for him, even with that little bobble coming out of turn 12. Taking a peek to the inside there on Larson. I think that was more so just to get a little bit of clean air on the nose going into the corner. Now the dirty air really going to start hindering him here, as you can see just how much that car didn't want to turn into the corner at the top of the hill. Not needing to blip the throttle yet, coming through the S's. And that is a great sign that these guys are able to stay completely flat out, even through such high-speed corners. Supa taking a fake look to the inside. Taking a tighter line on exit. Nearly getting into the wall, though. Gotta be careful with how much he's getting close to that concrete wall. Right up under the gearbox of S2K, though. And he's going to potentially take a look now. Thinks better of it again, but he was so close to him, he wasn't able to get any air onto the front end of his car. Larson, though, and S2K both with a bit of a bobble out of the final corner. Supa now, fastest lap of the race. Top 3 all under a blanket. This is the closest we've had a top 3 so far in the season. Especially this deep into the opening run. Larson looking to hang on for now. Got a slightly better exit, but now the slipstream already kicking into effect for S2K. Purple opening sector for him. lost a little bit of time through the S's now as that dirty air starts to really punish his front tires. And that could be another factor as well, is because of how close he is sitting to Larson. Larson will end up ultimately having better tire wear regardless of whether or not S2K has a slightly better setup for his tires. And that's just simply because S2K is going to be scrubbing them more, trying to make sure he can keep up with Larson. Larson pulling a little bit of a gap that time by. Supa with a bit of a slide coming out of the final corner. And all three of them now up and under the start-finish line. Further back, Guzman continuing to lead over Vader. Quackadilly has gotten around Method. Sam is up into 8th. Lucano has dropped to 10th. He was just in the pit lane. Might be a little bit early for a round of pit stops, but we will have to wait and see on that. And Larson now is really starting to use the overtake button, trying to defend his position, trying to build a bit of a buffer to S2K. As Supa runs, the other important thing to keep an eye on is how much the soft tire is going to continue to wear out compared to the mediums. Mediums probably around 15 or so percent at most, 10-15% worn out. Softs, however, nearing around 50 as far as how much tread is left on them. So the soft tire at this point, probably good if he was in clean air for maybe 20 laps. If he was A, taking care of his tires and then B, also in clean air, like I just mentioned. The medium tire, I would imagine it could probably go for 30-odd laps before it starts really falling off. Could we potentially be looking at a one-stop, maybe? I mean, it would be a very big push to make it on a one-stop. Although, alternatively, I would imagine easier pit strategy would be give or take 30 laps on the soft, and then about 15 laps apiece on two sets. Or did I get that mixed up? 30 laps on the mediums, two sets of 15 laps on soft tires. Supa's really got his car hooked up going through turn 12. He's able to close in on S2K a lot, even though he is taking a very alternate line through that corner. Gap for now seemingly stabilized at about half a second. Don't think S2K's in a big hurry to try to get around Larson immediately. Though Larson definitely taking some defensive lines now, trying to break the slipstream to get away. Used a little bit more of the overtake again. And this is something we've seen out of Larson. He is not afraid to use his overtake button earlier in a race. S2K has been known to save a lot of his overtake for later in a race, just so that way he can go for a fastest lap attempt on lighter fuel. What it does mean is that it makes his overtakes earlier in a race much more difficult to try to pull off because he doesn't really use it as much. Larson kind of forced, however. Oh, he gets up onto the curb! What a save by Larson! As he's going to have to hang on to it. They're going to be side by side with him and S2K. Coming out of turn 12, this could get risky here into the death chicane. Larson going to need to back out of that one. And we're going to take a look back at that. My goodness me, he just got a little bit wide coming through the S's. Oh boy, and that was just the curb bottoming out underneath the car. Man, he got so lucky he did not throw that thing into a loop. S2K immediately now with the clean air beginning to run away. All right, let's take a look back at that moment for Larson. Right on board, a third-person view here. On the overtake all the way through the S's, just Just a lapse of judgment, ran it out a bit wide onto the curb. Great job to save the car when he did. And then it was side by side here with S2K coming down into the corner. He didn't want to yield, but ultimately S2K had the better run on the outside. And that was the end of that. S2K now again with a second and a half lead now over these trailing two. Question now, I think, is going to be who's going to come home second, unless something happens to S2K, because I don't think these two are really going to have the pace to go and catch him back up again. Supa runs in third, but he will need to think about coming into the pits relatively soon. If he is thinking about that two-stop strategy, using 2 sets of softs, probably going to be looking at coming in 2 laps time, which he should be able to do on the softs, as that was a Guzman lagging further in the back. And that is a good point raised in the chat. There is potentials for safety cars. However, with how spread out the pack is, I don't think we're realistically going to see one all that soon. Again, safety car is not typically thrown for single car incidents. Supa, I will say, doing very well, hanging on to third place at the moment with how worn out those tires are. The other crucial thing through all this is with how much Larson was draining his overtake. He's only got half of his overtake button left. Again, it's about 200 seconds total on the overtake, so he's only got about 100 seconds left to use. Supa's got about 150 to use. S2K a little less than that. Now already up to a 2-second lead, excuse me. And continuing to build on that lead. Larson kind of now stuck running 1 minute 20.8s now that he's not burning his overtake as much. Doesn't need to use his overtake button now. He should just start naturally pulling away from Supa as Supa's soft tires continue to wear out. Although he'll be looking to come in pretty quickly here. As we have a battle going on for fourth here between Guzman and Vader. Guzman on the soft tire, trying to hold off Vader on the mediums. And these two now 12 and a bit seconds ahead of Quackadilly, who runs in 6th. Vader closing in a little bit, 2.5 tenths back. Guzman looking to defend to the inside lane. Crosses back over closer to the racing line. Still leaves Vader ample racing room, so great racecraft from these two being shown right now. As they make their way through the death chicane and down toward the penultimate corner. Vader kind of struggling to close in any more than this, just through the dirty air. You can kind of see he lost 2 tenths going through the final corner just because he had to lift a little more because of the dirty air. But now he closes right back up coming into turns 2 and 3. Struggling a little bit to put the power down though. Got to be careful with how much of the curb you are using when you do that. Because the back edge of the curb, you can kind of see there's like a little bit of a ridge, and then it just falls away down toward the grass. This is where Vader has been very strong now, as Guzman's tires continue to wear. Both of them right up under each other. Under a tenth of a second between them. Vader trying to get to the inside, not going to have any space. Going to try to fire it around the outside. Guzman placing his car perfectly to hang on to it. And Vader not going to be able to get by just yet. Oh, hard into the wall! And there it is! The first victim claimed by the death chicane, Vader, clobbers the inside wall. Nope, I pressed the wrong button. I meant to press the capture button first. Vader just hanging on to it. And that's great timing for Guzman because his tires were cooked. Guzman had to come in that lap. Vader ultimately getting into the wall, and that's going to force him to stay behind for now. And now he's probably going to need to throw on another set of mediums in order to get into the window to do this on one more stop. Supa hanging on for another lap. That's very surprising. S2K with a 2.7 second lead. And we will just quickly look through the grid as Method goes for a spin. He hits the inside wall. And that's going to be damage to his car now as well. Highly unfortunate. I think it was, I don't know if he was just trying to get out of the way or just used a little too much of that inside curb. Let's take a look back and see what happened to Vader. Hopefully this will work. And it did. It's just kind of hard to see. We'll try this one more time. Coming through the chicane and just... I think there was a little bit of desync, but he was a little bit further over, and we'll watch it coming through here. The right-hand side of his car just got used a little bit too much curb, clipped the tech probe, and then that just shot him out to the other side of the track and into that concrete wall, destroying the front end of his car. And that was all she wrote for that. And now we have a brewing battle for 5th. Guzman, who's just been into the pits, trying to hang off against Alex, who has already made his first stop. Alex trying to get close enough to him to try to make a move. Fires it up the inside. You don't typically see an overtake through there. Guzman going to get the crossover. Great battle between these two now as they're going to come down into the S's. This could get a little risky. Should still be easily flat for both, and it is. Alex up into 5th place. What a battle between these two. I was going to say, you don't typically see an overtaking maneuver in cars as fast as these going into turn 6. Alex made it stick just enough. Guzman tried to get the crossover, but Alex was on the preferred line going through the S's. And he will be up into 5th place as long as Guzman can't get him back. He does have the tire advantage and a little bit of an overtake advantage as well, so he has that going for him. But a little bit of a slide for the American as he's going to have to reset and go at... a little bit of audio issues on my end. They seem to be all good now. Guzman taking a peek to the inside, not going to work. Ran it a little bit deep into the chicane. And now Alex should start to run away. I will say, I am very shocked with how long Supa has been able to make these soft tires last. Potentially looking at a one-stop if he keeps this up. If he can get to about lap 20, it would be 40 or so laps on the medium tire that he needs to make last. And being only 6 seconds back from S2K, that's... Okay, he's into the pits now. With how the leaders are running, though, it might be a viable strategy. Could Supa pull off a one-stop here? He exits the pits now onto the mediums. And very well ahead of Quackadilly, who has, I believe, already made a stop. I think. Maybe not. I don't know. Alex definitely has pit, as has Guzman. Vader has... I think everyone else has pit now, except for our 2 leaders and potentially Quackadilly. So S2K with the 3.5 second lead. If Supa's strategy is anything to go by, S2K will be looking to take his tires at minimum to around lap 30, so another 10 laps on these tires. Or if he were to attempt the one stop and then do 20 laps on the softs, he would need to take this to lap 40 or so. Larson, however, into the pits already. Very interesting pitting now to get off the medium. Ultimately, I think Larson's just trying something to pull a blinder on S2K. He is out of the pits and onto another set of the mediums. And he still has about a 2.5 second lead over Supa. Supa with a 38.7 on his in-lap. Larson was 0.2 faster on his in-lap, so we'll see what Larson's out-lap is like. Going to be comparing it to Supa's 22.9. That is a good point. Larson hasn't been known for incredible tire wear, although all that being said, that is how he was able to fend off S2K and win in Lago Maggiore, which was the last fantasy track that we did run at. So it's not out of the question, but it's definitely an interesting strategy call to go to the medium tire now already, unless he thinks the fall off is enough that pitting this early is worth trying to make up the lap time. It's about, it looks like it's just under 20 seconds to go through the pit lane, because he was 3.5 seconds back from S2K when he came into the pits. Also comparing out laps, Larson was another 10th faster than Supa. S2K, however, still running pretty solidly in the 1 minute 20.7s. Vader actually with the fastest lap, I've just realized, so well done to him. See if he's able to hang on to that as this race progresses. But again, S2K running 1 minute 20.7s. We're going to have to wait and see what Larson's able to do here now that he's on fresher tires. Larson is obviously slowly closing in, just given the fact that he has 21 lap fresher tires. But I wouldn't call it outstanding pace. Now 120.4, so he's only 0.3 faster a lap than S2K right now. I wonder if potentially that pit stop was more so just to cover off Supa and just guarantee that he stays ahead of Supa regardless of whatever strategy Supa tries to pull here. Because Supa, I would imagine, is now going to take these tires. I don't think Supa's going to be able to go to the end here. It's just a little bit too long on those tires. Larson can't go to the end because he is required to run a set of the softs, as is S2K, which is why that strategy doesn't really make sense to me. Supa is legally able to go to the end. The question is going to be whether or not his tires will be able to. Which I just don't think they will. S2K has gotten around the 2 lap cars of Lucadio and Sam, which I have just noticed. So that could also be another reason why he wasn't at full pace as Sam is going to go, or try to get around Lucanio. Great side-by-side battle between these two. Still side-by-side. Lucanio trying to tuck into the slipstream. But I think Sam is going to come out ahead on that one. And will do. Even with their battling, though, S2K really hasn't lost any time. At least compared to the lap times he was already running. Larson is definitely starting to pick up a little bit more pace. He's now run a 20.2. I'd be looking to see if he's able to run that pace a little more consistently, because that would mean he is half a second a lap quicker than S2K. As we are coming around to lap 24, so I mean there is still 36 laps to go here, which I mean could. I apologize. I'm not really saying too much right now. I'm just trying to work out pitch strategy, so it probably just sounds like noise, but. Larson, again, I'm just trying to work out what his pitch strategy actually is. Either way, he's pulled he's pulled an additional second over his lead on Supa. Alex is up into fourth. He's going to need to think about pitting fairly soon, though. Guzman has stayed relatively close, but again, he still has that massive tire offset. Vader has picked up front wing damage again somewhere. Quackadilly runs in seventh, kind of out on his own. Method is now getting blue flags as S2K comes up to him. So S2K is the only driver who hasn't yet made a pit stop. Ivan has raised a interesting point in chat. Unfortunately, it's been cut off on my screen, so I have to go try to pull this up again. He has raised the point that historically Larson doesn't like the tires once they get past 50% worn, so he prefers the harder compound but newer. He can't run worn tires. Very interesting as S2K and Method get a little close. Method eventually, though, conceding that position. S2K, I don't believe, got held up very much in the... he lost a tenth or so. Method staying out of the way, though, down into turn 2. Now, I will say this. Larson is now starting to get inside the window where he would jump S2K if S2K were to pit now. That said, S2K could... yeah, I think S2K is probably going to take these tires to about lap 30. Based off of how much they've been worn down over the course of this run. Yeah, I don't think the medium tires are going to go 40 laps at this point. But there might have been a chance, based off of how S2K's tires were looking a little while ago. But I am rescinding that case in point. So probably going to be thinking about coming in around 5 laps, and then probably that 2-stop strategy that I had pointed out earlier, where he will then run 15 or so laps on the soft tire to get to the end. And he'll do that twice. Larson came into pit. He did 20 laps on the medium before pitting. So if he doesn't like a very worn out tire though, he's probably going to need to take this further than lap 40 in order to make it on the soft tire, because that would still be 19 laps on the soft in order to complete it. He'd pit at the 1/3 mark in this race. As we have a battle between Alex and Guzman. Going at it again. Guzman trying to make the pass around the outside. They're still going to be side by side. Nearly a bit of contact. Guzman defending to the inside. Going to allow Alex to try to sail around the outside. He is off into the grass, however. No damage, but definitely got run off the course, and now he's going to be vulnerable to Vader now. It was definitely an aggressive defensive maneuver by Guzman. Alex then tried firing it around the outside. I suppose we'll see what the stewards have to say about that one. I know some open wheel rule books will typically say if you're, if your car's ahead of the apex. I am 99% certain we don't go by that rule, however, which is a very good thing, I should add. So we'll see what the rule is regarding when you have to leave racing room and how much is required of you. I probably should have remembered to hit the capture key in order to get a replay of that. Ultimately, I was too caught up in the moment. Alex hangs on to 5th for now, ahead of Vader, namely because Vader is on equal tires but with front wing damage. So we'll see if Alex is potentially able to close back in on Guzman a little bit before he needs to pit, though I don't think that's particularly likely. S2K finally into the pits, a little earlier than I would have expected, however. So if he's going to run 2 sets of soft tires to the end, he's going to need to take them a pretty decent way. This could also just be another set of mediums. No, he is going onto the soft tire. Where is Larson? This is going to be the big question. Larson round the outside. He had the momentum, and he is ahead of S2K. The undercut strategy has worked, but now S2K is on these softer compounds and will be lightning quick. Fake to look up the inside. That's going to cause Larson to go a bit deep. S2K is going to have a run here coming down the hill, as we will ride on board with him as he looks to set up a move potentially down into turn 12. Tucked into the slipstream, not even needing the overtake button. He will fake it to the outside, looks to the inside, deep under the brakes, and he is going to clear Larson immediately. Half a lap behind and right back out into the clean air. Masterful driving by the championship leader. Larson, though, not going to let this one go without a fight. He's going to try to dive it to the inside. Don't think he was trying to actually make a move. He was just trying to keep clean air on the nose. Not able to get there, and S2K is going to burn a little bit of overtake and take an alternate line just to break slipstream. And S2K back to a half a second lead. And he's going to continue to pull away now. So, strategy beginning to unfold. That's 30 laps to go now. S2K is probably going to need to nurse these tires a little bit in order to go 15 or probably go... Yeah, he's going to need to take these tires 16 or 17 laps in order to get inside the window to make it to the end here. So that would put him at 4... Yeah, lap 42 or so he would probably need to get to on these tires. So Larson already back by 1.5 seconds. Supa has actually been closing in on the past couple laps. Actually, no, hang on a minute. What happened to Larson that he lost? Larson evidently had a pretty piss poor lap last time around. I just didn't notice. A 121.1 to Supa's 121 or 120.1. So he lost a full second to Supa, and that's going to allow Supa to try to start closing in a bit again. Very interesting indeed. Alex is into the pits, getting off those medium tires. Should be interesting to see if he tries going 2 sets of softs to the end, or maybe another set of medium. I think Alex started on the soft. I can't remember, though. See what he ends up picking here, and it is another set of the medium tire. Not going to take him to the end, I don't think. There's potential, but I don't think it'll get him to the end. No, hang on, wait, no, that is right. Alex did start on the soft, that's why he had to pit so early. He's just run nearly 30 laps on his last set of mediums. Alex could be trying to go to the end now. I believe that will be the strategy. Alex is now going to try to go to the end. Certainly if I was his team race engineer, that would be what I am trying to tell him here is make sure those tires last and take them all the way to the end. That is also a teammate of his up further ahead. Macadilli might have a chance at trying to get these tires to the end, but I don't know if he's run the soft tire yet. That would be my biggest question. Vader is into the pits again. This will be to repair his front wing, and probably going to be a set of medium tires to go to the end for him. So that is now Guzman up into 4th place once again. Guzman has actually already run a set of soft tires. He started the race on the softs, as did Supa. So I would imagine Guzman's now going to try to go a little deeper into this run, and then he'll strap on, well, depending on how early he pits, either another set of mediums, or if he's able to take these tires far enough, maybe another set of softs to the end. Alex is fairly quickly catching Quackadilly at the moment, so expect a little round of team orders, perhaps, telling Quackadilly to let his faster teammate through. Vader runs 7th now, having just made his pit stop. Sam runs in 8th, Method following fairly closely behind. Method on slightly newer tires, and I believe closing. So we'll keep an eye on that battle, as Lucanio runs in 10th, rounding out our field. And Guzman now actually already into the pits, having just called that. Oh, he's been into the wall! Lucanio has been into the wall. I believe that would have been another victim of the death chicane. I don't think he turned in too early. I think he just kind of carried a bit too much speed, maybe clobbered a bit too much curb. That would have shot him out into the outside wall. Would be my guess as to what's happened. Definitely an earlier stop than he probably would have wanted. Should still be able to go to the end, but he's going to need to hang on to those tires in order to do so. And that's now put him and Vader on basically the same strategy. So this is going to be 4 position here. Vader has his tires up to temp already. Guzman defending hard to the inside. Vader with a late cutback. Trying to get it. Guzman trying to get the crossover again. They're going to be side by side into the chicane again. Guzman needing to yield. Man, have I said how much I just love this track and how racy it is? So many, you know, it's a great combination of driver's corners, where it's up to where it just such fun flowing corners for the driver to enjoy, but then also in cars like these, they just lend themselves so perfectly to being able to set up moves like that going into turn 12 and down into turn 1, where you can battle side by side, and it's so much fun. Love this track. Alex is now up onto the gearbox of Quackadilly, and Quackadilly's going to get way out of the way to let his teammate through. Great teamwork there between the Scorpio drivers. Supa runs in third, is currently gaining on Larson. Larson's lap time's hanging around the 1 minute 20.5 region. Supa had been down into the 120.2s. 120.2, 120.3. A little bit slower that last time by 120.7, so lost a little bit of time, but still fairly close to Larson up in front. Looking further back, Sam actually pulled away a little bit from Method on that previous lap, so that's why that battle hasn't closed up any more than it has. And Vader continuing to now pull away from Guzman. So working lap 35 of 59 at the moment. Goodness me, I've been trying to take a moment to take a drink, but every single time it just seems like something else pops up. Haven't had a chance. This is the closest battle on track now between Larson and Supa. Gap hanging around 1 second. Larson able to pull another couple of tenths ahead of Supa that time by. He does have a couple lap fresher tires, which will give him a little bit of a benefit. And SGK now coming up to the back of a couple lap cars. This is Method and Sam. Not the first time SDK has had to lap these two so far, but pitch strategy put him back behind them. I think Method was trying to get out of the way, ultimately decided to change what lane he was going to be in, which might have thrown SDK for a loop. He is through now, and across the line it is a 19.8. So lost a couple tenths on on the laps he had been running. He does now have the fastest lap of the race, a 1:19.3. So we'll see if SGK is able to get back down into the 1:19.5s, the 1:19.6s. Supa closing in a little bit again on that lap. Ran a 1:20.3, so a much better lap actually. Gained about half a second on the laps he had been running. Back down to 8 tenths and definitely into Larson's slipstream now. Down to turn 12, gained another 2 tenths just from slipstream alone. Down that straight, down the hill. Now through the chicane again. Blue flags for the cars ahead, but they're still a little ways away, so nothing to worry about for Larson or Supa just yet in terms of getting around lap traffic. Supa with actually a very good exit out of the final corner. Larson got out a little bit wider on the curb. And Supa now beginning to close in again. He's got a quite healthy overtake button advantage, so don't count Supa out of a potential second place yet. I should have taken a closer look, but unless my memory serves incorrect, we can have the stat people back me up on this. I believe on the 3 occasions where Supa has been on the podium, it has either been a win or second place. He has never come home bronze. Does he continue that trend here, or does he finally pick up that missing piece of hardware? I'm sure it's a piece of hardware he'd rather continue staying missing if it means getting another second place. I think he'd rather the points for second place rather than achievement hunting. Either way, still hanging around 6/10 back from Larson. How are they looking on fuel, actually? You keep seeing this icon pop up. Supa a little bit better off on fuel, so he's saved a little more than Larson has. Both of them should be fairly decent to get to the end here as we close in on 20 laps to go. So a third of this race remaining, and they do have a third of a tank left. S2K still out in front. Lap time beginning to fade now as he gets to about 50% worn on those tires. And again, he's got to get ideally to past 40, lap 42 in order to do this race on one more set of soft tires. And actually, to that point, Supa is 9.8 seconds back from the lead, but he should be good to go to the end if his tires hold out. And that's a big if for his tires to hold out, but legally speaking, he is good to go to the end. Larson has to pit. He has only run 2 sets of mediums so far. He must come into the pits one more time. If Supa's able to hang on to these tires, there's a chance he could hold off S2K here. Because S2K will drop back. He will be about 10 or so seconds behind Supa. And Supa's got a bit of an overtake advantage as well. So there's a chance for Supa to think about going for the win here. It would be definitely a big ask of these tires to get to the end. But I wouldn't count it impossible just yet. Further down the field, Alex continuing to run in 4th place. He's a minute behind the leaders, however, and 50 seconds back from Supa. So, barring any safety cars, I think that's where Alex is going to end up today. Quackadelli runs 5th. Vader is actually closing in rapidly as he will be looking to get himself back up into the top 5. Guzman runs in 7th, Sam in 8th. Sam's going to need to be coming into the pits relatively soon. And Method is going to be getting the blue flag now to get out of the way for the leaders. And he's going to jump out of the way very nicely off to the side of the road, braking very early for the corner. So well done to him. Thank you for your sportsmanship. Lucanio still running in 10th. S2K now with an 11-second lead over this battle for second. Gap under half a second, though, between these two cars. Supa has closed in a bit more. Not by much, but he's definitely still there. Ooh, Larson got out wide again. He's got to be careful with that outside curve. We saw what happened to him last time. I think he's actually been using a little bit more of his overtake button, trying to stay ahead of Supa. Did this strategy of his potentially cost him second place? That could be the question to be asked in post-race interviews here. Because Supa is in a great spot to either get ahead of Larson needs to pit. So if Supa can get ahead of him here, he's going to be able to pit onto a set of soft tires with Larson and have track position. Or potentially just stay out altogether and just finish ahead of him. Larson, though, really good through turns 2 and 3. Able to hold off or get away from Supa just a little bit through there. Just unable to break away, it seems. In the slipstream, 183 tucked up behind Larson coming down the hill as they exit turn 12, closing in still. Actually ran a 120.2, a really fast lap for Supa the last time by. Sorry, that's the wrong button. Larson did pick up the pace as well. He ran a 120.4. I think, though, that was because Larson ran a bit more of his overtake button. I keep messing up what button I need to press to go to which car. So I apologize that we keep looking to other drivers. Supa closing in, though, 2/10 back. Does he think about a dive here? No, not enough of a braking zone to think about a move just yet. Fairly decent exit, though. Stayed relatively close. Still under half a second just about. Take that wide line to get a sweeping exit. And closing in again as they go through the S's. The slipstream down on the downhill section of this track, all the way from turn 6 down to turn 12, is crazy how much Supa is able to close in. He gains like 3/10 on Larson every single time going through there. It's just, unfortunately, through dirty air and other cars, he's just not really able to get much closer. Sam gets out of the way. What might have potentially thought as a teammate for Supa, Sam might have tried helping him out. Supa, though, going to finally jump into the pits. He will not go to the end on these tires. Going to try the undercut here, and we saw him go about over 15 laps on the soft tire to start this race, so he should definitely be able to go to the end from here. He was right up under the gearbox of Larson, so this could be an undercut potential for Supa. He's using a lot of his overtake already on pit exit. And this will be the one to watch, is where does Larson blend compared to Supa? Larson on the overtake button as well. He knows he is at risk to lose P2 here. You need to be very careful on the throttle. He is set a personal best sector, even though he's on such worn out tires. That is how much he is draining this overtake button to try to stay ahead. I don't think realistically he's going to be able to use any more of it unless especially if he wants to be able to have some for the pit exit to try to stay ahead. Larson is into the pits. This will be onto a set of soft tires to run to the end. Larson finally into his pit box. Supa is through the final corner and climbing the hill now. This is going to be very close on pit exit here. But Supa is already ahead. And Supa's going to have a 1.2 second lead over Larson once he gets up to speed here. The undercut has paid off. And it is an American 1-2 now, as Supa takes over the second place spot. And now it's going to be a battle of pure pace for Larson to try to get back around him. Because again, he has almost no overtake left to try to get back around if he can get there. So now S2K will jump into the pits. He knows he has pretty much a 9-second buffer to where Supa and Larson will appear. And it is going to be a 15-lap dash to the finish here for S2K now. He has done his longer of the two soft tire stints now already, and it will now be pretty smooth sailing for him to get to the end of this race now. And I would imagine he will be thinking about going for a fastest lap attempt pretty quickly before his tires start to wear out. Supa with a 1.4 second lead, that gap continuing to extend as he sets a personal best lap last time by. Larson's outlap a 21.8, Supa's was a 20.2. That's where he made up the time, was the outlap. Much faster outlap for Supa compared to Larson. That's the correct one. And then comparing the end laps, Larson had a 37.2. Supa's end lap was a 38.2. But again, he was behind Larson when he came into the pits on that lap. Larson, however, is very slowly beginning to close. There is still time for Larson to get there. The bigger question is going to be, how will he be able to get back around Supa? Because again, he's got almost no overtake button left to try to get around. Larson, though, even without it, sets the fastest lap of the race. A 1:19.2. We'll see what S2K thinks of that in potentially a few laps' time now. He is on his first flying lap. He is not pushing the car, though. He's actually 0.3 down on his personal best. Potentially in a little bit of a fuel save mode just to make sure he gets to the end here. Supa has cleared method. Now Larson will be the next one to pounce. Lap car, however, might have potentially helped Larson a bit here. Going to get a big chunk of slipstream here, and that's cut Supa's lead down in half. Gap was 1.2, it is now 0.8. For the Brack, real quick to give an update before we get to this battle for second. Alex still running in fourth, should be very good to go to the end from here, as should Vader. He's got a 5-second lead over Guzman, who's got a 1.5 over Quackadilly, and that gap continuing to grow. Immortal Sam into the pits, as is Method, and Lucanio runs 10th at the moment. Don't think he's really going to be challenging for that 8th or 9th spot. Ooh, that's the wrong button. And now S2K starting to push for a fastest lap. 0.7 up already in the first sector, draining his overtake now as he plummets through the S's. And a quick peek back just to make sure that these two aren't on top of each other. 0.7 for the moment. And we'll ride on board with S2K as he looks to set his fastest lap of the race. A second up on his personal best. Larson with another fastest lap last time by. Quackadilly and Vader both into the pits. S2K draining the overtake, staying to the hard left-hand side of the road, firing it into the final actual corner on the track. Clean exit over the curb, and short line run up to the line, and it is a 1:17.4, a second up on his qualifying time, thanks in help to that overtake button. My goodness me, he is absolutely flying. 2 seconds faster than anyone else out on track. And now we turn our attention to this battle for second. Supa has the upper hand, both with track position and a boatload more overtake. If Larson is going to get by, it is going to have to be on pure skill alone. Gap has been extended to 9/10 as Supa used a little bit more overtake coming down the hill. Larson, though, with a tighter line coming through turn 12. Not going to be able to get to full power as quickly, but certainly shaving off a little bit of distance where he can. Gap under 8/10. And closing. Vader running slow as he adheres to blue flags. Lets both Supa and his teammate by. And now he will tuck up behind his teammate. Try to send the slipstream and potentially go after Quackadelli, who is 9 seconds up the road. Vader on a brand new set of softs to boot as well. Gap nearly under 7/10. Supa getting a pretty decent exit in clean air. Fairly early apex though, coming through turn 6, and that will have cost him a run out of the corner. Larson with a 1/10.5 gained already. Supa not using his overtake button yet. And now he jumps on it as I say it. Just blips it a little bit just to make sure that gap doesn't get much closer than it is. But Larson under half a second for a moment. Dirty air kicking back in though, as Supa extends it back to 7. Out from the tunnel and down into the penultimate corner, Larson still gaining. I guess so impressive how deep he's able to throw that car into the final corner. It costs him on exit, but he's able to get so close on the entry. And he's going to stay under 5.5/10. As long as he can get a decent enough exit, going to keep it under 7 this time as he exits through one of the trickier portions of the track, at least to handle the dirty air. Flips his overtake, or what's left of it, to try to get a slightly better exit now as he plummets down the hill. Not going to be able to get too much closer, especially now that Supa is beginning to burn a little more overtake. 8 laps to go. It is going to be very tricky for Larson to find his way by Supa, with Supa having about 90 seconds of overtake still to use. Larson's got maybe 5 seconds left of overtake to burn. So realistically, he's going to need to get close enough just on his own. If he can get right up underneath Supa's gearbox by either Supa making a mistake or some other way, if he can stay close enough to Supa coming down the hill toward turn 12, I think he might have a chance. It's just going to be very difficult for him to try to make the pass happen, especially if Supa's able to get a run out of the corner like that. Not even needing the overtake button just yet, as he extends the gap to 8/10. Briefly taking a look through the field, making sure no one else is closer. And yeah, everyone seems to have become very spread out at this point. S2K continuing to lead, now with a 10-second lead. Gap under 0.6 as Larson tries to get closer. Little bit of a bobble coming out of the death chicane. Hangs on to it though, under half a second. Shallower line into the penultimate corner. And then that dirty air just forcing him to get off the throttle. Can't get back to it. And that allows Super to build it back up over half a second again. Larson will try again, this time being 0.4 back on the entry to turn 2. Going to lose a little more time as he gets stuck in the dirty air once again. Going to be coming around to 6 laps to go next time by. Or is it 6? Yes, 6 laps to go next time by. With a gap of 0.7 to try to close in. Say Larson is definitely taking shallower lines now. He's not necessarily trying to. He's not really necessarily focused on taking wide, smooth corners to try to maintain momentum. He is purely trying to just shave off distance and try to keep clean air on the nose of his car wherever he can. Be 0.6 back as he comes into the penultimate corner. Once again, going a little bit deeper that time. And actually did get a slightly better run out of the corner because of it. Though they remain at about the same gap. 19.597 to a 19.466. Supa edging ahead just a little bit on that lap. Larson, though, doing a little bit better to have a more equal exit that time out of turn 3. Now to turn 6, using all the curb and actually got a better run than Supa that time by. Able to get back to the power. Oh, just that little bit quicker. Gaining still as they drop down the hill. Going to be under 0.5 by the time they get on the anchors for turn 12. Not able to get close enough just yet. Going to be 5 laps to go this time by. Larson looking for any advantage he can find. Supa, however, with a slightly compromised run through the death chicane. Using a lot of the curb on entry. And that's going to allow Larson to keep a little bit more air on his nose, but he still just pushes out that little bit too much. He's just getting a little bit too greedy on exit, and that's causing him to drop a tire into the grass. Gotta be careful with how much curb they use. Larson still has just a little bit of overtake left. But it's not going to be enough unless he gets side by side with Supa. He's not going to burn it at this point. Still just under 0.8 of a second. This battle probably going to take us all the way to the checkered flag at this point. Larson going to close in. Not going to be as close this time. Going to be about 1.5 further back. Still got a cleaner exit out of turn 12. He's just a little bit better coming out of that corner with the line he takes. And that's allowing him to maintain momentum all the way through the death chicane and down into this penultimate corner. 5.5 back, 4.5 at the closest point. Supa with a bobble. This could be his chance. Supa had to flip the throttle, and Larson now much closer. Supa draining the overtake, trying to stay ahead. Here comes Larson, going to be on the outside coming into turn 2. They are side by side. Supa is not going to yield, and he will hang on to it for now, and does just. But he had to burn a lot of his overtake to stay ahead. 4 to go. And that's going to be the mistake Larson is looking for. Problem now is he has burned his overtake. He has none left. And they are back to square one with the gap that he has. Oh my goodness me. Folks, don't go anywhere. This battle is just beginning. Oh my word. 0.8 of a second. Supa burning a little more overtake, trying to pull away again. Going to be coming around to 3 laps to go this time by. S2K at this point just on cruise control, holding a 10.6 second lead over Supa. Actually did not get as good of an exit as he would have liked coming out of the penultimate corner. He still has as big of a lead as he's had coming down into turn 2. That just means that there's less dirty air for Larson to contend with as they now charge down into turn 6. 0.7 back. We'll see if he's able to get that good exit again. Looks like it, though not. It wasn't a crazy good exit. It was about the same. And now Slipstream going to help him close in a little more. Larson, though, got to be careful on fuel, though. He is getting very close. But look ahead of Supa. Lap traffic could be a factor. Lucano staying out wide. Might have thought it could have cost someone something, but they've made it through so far. And that is not Alex up the road. That is Quackadilly up ahead of Supa. This could start to cause him problems. Larson deep on the brakes again. Managing to hang on to it. Not as good of an exit again, but that's also Supa draining his overtake once again. 2 laps to go here at Dragon Trail. Have I been saying tail this whole time? Anyway. .9 of a second between Supa and Larson. Supa, though, has drained just about all of his overtake left. If he has another bobble like he did a few laps ago, that could cost him. What also could cost him is the impending dirty air of Quackadilly up in front. It will give Supa a little bit of slipstream to hang on to for now. But he will be feeling the pressure of Larson lurking in the background. These two battling for the points at the moment as it stands for that 3rd place spot in the championship. Supa, I believe, was only a few... Supa had gotten ahead of Larson either last round or a couple of rounds ago, as they're going to come around to the white flag one more time around. Supa, a half-decent exit, but Larson is there, and Quackadilly is going to get out of the way of both of them, as S2K is already up to the north end of the circuit with a 12-second lead. Supa with an okay exit, though Larson with a better one. Still closing in. Supa with barely any overtake left. It is going to be mano a mano. Oh, Larson with a big wiggle, though. That could cost him any chance if Supa makes a mistake now. S2K going to round turn 12. He's got only a 1/3 of a lap to go now. He will make his way one more time through the death chicane, burning the last of his overtake. He got over the hump last time out. He got 5 in a row. He's going to make it 6 with one more corner to go. S2K rounds the corner. Win number 18 of his career. S2K victorious in Croatia. Supa will round the final corner. He is 13 seconds back from S2K, but he will hang on over Larson by 1.2 seconds. Larson actually running out of fuel on the run to the line. Alex is going to come home in 4th. Guzman will hang on to 6th. Quackadilly will finish the first car 1 lap down in 6th, Vader will come home 7th. Sam is going to come home 8th. Method in 9th. Luke and Yo rounding out our grid in 10th. And it looks like he's been into the wall at some point again. That might have actually been from him getting out of the way of the leaders. We saw him running out basically into the wall at turn 12. That might have been what that was from. My goodness me. Folks, don't go anywhere. Drop your questions for the podium if you have any. We've got post-race interviews coming up in just a few moments. Man, good evening.
Good evening, Blake.
Evening.
Good afternoon, evening, or what was the Truman Show? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Oh, Truman Show? That would have been, oh, hang on. It's on the tip of my tongue, the order. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Good afternoon, I said good morning.
There was no good morning. You had it correct otherwise. Oh, man. Podium sit, our top three have all joined us now, so we'll get started with post-race interviews. Larson, we'll start with you. A hectic race, to say the least. You had a great start. I can't believe it. Got out in front to begin the race. And then I suppose we got the first point we need to talk about is what a save that was coming out of turn 9, exiting the S's. My goodness me, how did you save that car? Hello, Larson, are you there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, hello. Can you hear?
Yeah, I heard you already. Yeah, I was lucky there on turn 9. I was looking back to see where S2K was, and I got distracted and almost lost it there. But yeah, it was a good race, at least I enjoy it. Super was really impressive as well. S2K is something else.
Well, I've already been, the question's already been asked in chat, but I was going to get to it. I suppose we kind of need to also talk about your pit strategy. It was a very interesting call to go from starting on the mediums, pitting on lap 20 to go to yet another set of mediums. Was that a predetermined strategy call in your mind to do only 20 laps apiece on the tires and then go a little bit longer on the second stint to do only one set of softs, or was it not really in the question to try to take the first set long and then do two 15-lap sets of softs to the end?
My initial thought is to make 20 and maybe 23 on mediums and then go on softs. I thought it was the best strategy. I haven't practiced this track so much, so I wasn't sure which strategy is best. I just went with that.
All right. Well, it was certainly a hard-fought battle between you and Supa as it came down to the end. Ultimately, Supa able to get around you with the undercut.
Yes.
Was there anything you think you might have been able to do differently to try to get around him? Obviously, you got pretty close to him when he had a bit of a bobble coming out of the final corner with about 5 to go.
Yeah, I ran out of boost, and he managed to save a lot of boost, I think, and he was able to keep his position. Yeah, I spent a lot of boost in the beginning to try to keep S2K behind, and maybe that was ultimately my fault, losing the other position.
All right. Well, still a very solid result. P3 on the race. So congratulations to you, and
Thank you.
Great solid haul of points. Great to have you back as well.
Thank you. Me too.
All right, moving on. The other half of that battle, Supa. Also, a very hectic start, to say the least. I couldn't really tell, but it might have looked like you got a bit into the wars going down into turn 2 on the opening lap. You were able to get yourself up into second for a moment before S2K got back around you, and then it looked like pitch strategies just worked out to your favor, being able to get the undercut to get around Larson. So tell us about it from your end.
Yeah, turn one, turn one. Oh yeah, the turn one. I got distracted by Alex going to turn one, and I kind of outright myself and rear-ended SDK a little bit, and I don't know, but it looked like that caused SDK to kind of squeeze Alex, but I don't know, Alex kind of made a ambitious move. And then from there, just trying to keep up with S2K and Larson. They kind of got away from me towards the end of my stint, but I knew that my strategy would probably benefit me more than at least Larson, and I'd be able to get P2.
Well, I will say you certainly did a great job being able to keep up with them as long as you did, with how quickly your tires seemed to be fading out on the opening stint. And then also, let's talk about the outlap that you had to make the undercut work. You were draining a lot of the overtake that you had saved up in order to make that pass, it looked like.
Yeah, in order to undercut Larson, yeah. I knew that was my only chance to get past him because I didn't think I could do it on track really, even with the overtake advantage. I don't think because he was a bit quicker in the straight than me. I think I had more downforce than both SDK and Larson. So uh, yeah, just undercut. I knew Larson still had to pit for soft as well because I know he did medium, so I knew that was my chance to get ahead of him.
All right. Well, it was a great strategy nonetheless. Congratulations on yet another P2. Yet to finish third when you have finished on the podium. So
Yeah,
congrats on keeping up that stat. And hopefully we'll see you on the podium a few more times as the season progresses.
hopefully. Thanks.
All right. And moving on, your race winner yet again, S2K, win number 18, doing it for Rowdy. Tell us about it from your end. Obviously, lap 1 was probably a bit hectic for you.
Yeah, at the beginning, I didn't get the best of starts, obviously, and I got on the overtake a bit late, which allowed Larson to be able to just kind of pull ahead of me, and then allowed him to clear me to turn 1. So then at that point, I was just kind of in my mirrors, just looking behind, like, okay, what's going on between Supa and Alex? Because there's always a battle between them. So going into the braking zone, again, as Supa was saying, again, he just broke himself a little bit, tapped my rear end, and that kind of put me in a bad position between me and Alex, which kind of got him to be squeezed. But then after that, I was just trying to look straight, not behind me, and was able to just kind of maneuver the car, not spin. Luckily, didn't collect any damage from the incident, so no harm, no foul with that. And yeah.
All right. The other thing I wanted to ask you about, obviously, the move that got you around Larson when he ended up just running a bit wide through turn 9. What was that like for you as it all unfolded?
Yeah, when I was behind him, I kind of needed a change of underwear. I thought he was gonna come in front of me and like hook me. I was just like staring at him the whole time, like, okay, which car or which direction is this car pointing? But somehow he managed to save that, and saving that car around that curb, or when your car is like planted over that curb, is really hard. So again, really big props to him. He didn't end his race that way. So it was definitely scary. But then again, as he recollected, I just had the run on him into the downhill corner. I don't know what corner name it is or corner number, but around there, I just kind of tried holding it around the outside and tried pinning him a bit on the inside to kind of compromise his exit. And then I used boost and then got around and luckily just got away from there. So yeah.
All right. And the last thing about that, did you have any sort of flashback to last race when it, in a very similar fashion, you got caught up on the opening lap with Alex when he spun it off the curb and collected you?
I was a bit nervous when I saw him in front of me because I know Alex is a very aggressive driver, and again, like Super said, he goes for very ambitious moves. So every time I'm around him, I just try my best to out aggress him. I don't know what's the word for that, but I try to be more aggressive than he is, and kind of show him like I'm not going to give you the room either, so don't try anything with me. and I think he ended up making a mistake exiting turn 2, or he got caught on the curve, so he just lost his run. So then I just got by him, and I didn't see him for the rest of the race. So a bit of a flashback, but luckily it didn't cause damage like how it was last time around.
All right. Well, congratulations yet again. Win number 18 of the career and 6th win in a row on the season. Do you think you can go for 12 in a row and win the remaining 6?
It's again very. I think with the way I'm driving right now, it's definitely doable, but I just can't make the mistake. Like this race, if I had just spun it once, that would have been the streak over. So I just need to keep doing what I'm doing and just not letting up. Don't lose focus every lap, and might be possible. It's a goal I'm trying to achieve, and yeah, hopefully at the end of the season you'll be telling me, oh yeah, at Seaside I asked you the question and you fulfilled it. Hopefully that's what I'm going to hear. But yeah, I'll go for it. We'll see.
All right. Well, congratulations. Win again, 6th win in a row. Just an outstanding season you seem to be having. Average a few stats we pulled, but I wasn't able to get to before the race. Currently set on an average finish across the whole season of 1.4, and if not for Bathurst, that average finish would be 1.1. So just absolutely incredible to look at right now. And as it stands, you are on pace to match Verstappen's 2023 average finish. So again, congratulations. It has been an utterly dominant season, to say the least, but it has been incredibly fun to watch because it's not like the competition has been far away. They have been on your heels, it seems, for basically the entire way.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, and it's not easy to win all the races on the rest of the season. I'm not saying it's easy. Again, to do well in this league, you have to do everything right. Like this race, I don't know if you were looking at my lap times, everything was maybe within like a tenth to maybe 2/10. Had I not done that, maybe made a couple of mistakes, I would have came out farther behind Larson on my pit stop, could have caused more battling, could have let Supa catch up. So again, doing a lot of things right in the series is hard, but when you do it, it ends up well. And luckily, I've been doing that most of these races. So I don't know. Maybe Verstappen has to get in the league. We'll see who's going to run the show. I don't know. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the next races.
All right. And last question for you. Probably need to talk about the team championship just a little bit. First race where we've not had 2 AMS cars on the podium. Going to give a few other teams a chance to catch up a little bit. Are you concerned a little bit about the points at all for the team's title?
To be honest, no. Because we, at the moment, I think we still extend our lead over Scorpio Esports, and I think it would be around maybe like a 200-point gap. And I think even if we don't race for the rest of the season, I don't know what's the math here, but like I think if we just finish in points in the next race or two, I think we already have it clinched. So I'm not worried. When Ryan gets back, he's going to do well, as he always does. Very consistent driver, and I think the team championship, as long as we're doing what we're doing, we're going to seal that up, and then after that, just up to the drivers' championship to see what happens. So, yeah.
All right. I'll let the stewards be the one to calculate how quickly you guys can wrap up the team's title. Congratulations once again to our top 3. Thank you all for jumping in with me to do post-race interviews.
Yeah, no problem, Blade.
All right, folks, that will do it for us here today. Once again, thank you all for tuning in. Again, we'll be heading over, or attempting for the second time, going over to Austria for round 13 of the Scorpio Super Formula Series. That will be August 29th. Be definitely looking forward to that one. It always puts on a great show. I have been Scorpio Blade. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We will see you in a couple of weeks. Goodbye.